Hello, Henning Pauli here on the HP42 channel. Yes, that's how you pronounce that. Today we're going to talk about mics. I know it's boring and most likely for most of you not interesting considering the mics we're talking about. But for those of you that need what these mics can give you, stay tuned because for me, I know the word game changer has been used a lot. But for me, they have been excuse my French, fucking game changer. These AEA mics, thanks to Manuel Clem, thank you Manuel, and thank you AEA, have absolutely changed the way that I can present products to you, which I now can do in a much more translatable and realistic way. So let me explain. When I present a product that you have to experience in the room, how do you do that? Well, you have to be in the room, right? And this is especially true for speakers. You have a speaker in the room. Well, you're going to have to be in the room and listen to the speaker. And there's no way around that. So how does it fill the room? How does it feel to be in the room with the speaker? That's almost impossible. Close miking, it's completely stupid because then you're hearing it as if your mic is right there, which doesn't happen. What I previously did, and still sometimes will do, is use a binaural mic, which is, you've seen this, I use the 3DO1 fake ears. They're silicone ears, and within those ears are microphones, and you put this in a room, and it's very, very true to what it would be in this position if, and this is the kicker, if you're using headphones. If you're not using headphones, it just sounds wrong. Which means you can get this information from my videos of how something sounds in the room when I use that mic and you're using headphones or earbuds. If you're not using that, which you're likely not because you're watching this on your phone on the toilet, true, and you know it, you're not getting the information. You're actually getting wrong information because there's phasing issues and stuff like this. So how do I still present the information in the room to you the best I can without you using headphones? So enter, I'm going to be careful with this, the AEA R88A. You've heard me say this word for about 6 months now, many, many times. This is a fantastic mic and it is a ribbon mic. AEA is a company, as far as I understand, who are doing very classic mics. The R44 has been in music history since I think music is being recorded. It's a very big, with 3 kilo or whatever, it's very big and heavy, and you've seen this in all the big studios, and people have like the old version, and if you now want to buy the new version of it, or the reissue from AEA, I think it's over $5,000. Hey AEA, I love you. You know, nice mic to have. This is also a nice mic to have. So, Manuel brought over this stereo ribbon mic in the R88 version. And then it's not active. It's a little bit cheaper, but that means you have to boost your mic pre's to ridiculous. I mean, I put it into my Apollo X4 and I had to literally crank all the input all the way to the top. It was only really usable with the AEA preamp, which had enough boost to make it work. And I said, I don't want to do this. It doesn't make an awful lot of sense. So we traded it for the A version. This is the active version. And that still needs quite a boost, but it is much more usable because it's active and runs on phantom power. So there are 2 ribbons in here, and I don't know if you can see those. Probably not. You can see something inside, right? So there are 2 ribbons like this and one like this in Bloomline configuration as far as I understand. And you can see a line right here and you can see a line over here. They show you how to orient it. So look at this and that kind of needs to point towards you. And what you're getting is a beautiful stereo field. Yeah, they're 2 ribbons, meaning they both record in figure 8. A ribbon, if it's like this, always records in both directions and does figure 8. So this records in this direction and in this direction and just gets you a killer stereo field. And it gets you a very realistic frequency distribution in the room. When I listen back to what I'm recording with this, what I'm getting is what it feels like in the room. It's stunning. So I've been using this for amp reviews where I'm playing with a cab, and I'm miking the cab with a standard SM57 and a ribbon, as you do, and then adding this at about 1.5 meters away, mixing it in a tiny bit, which is why in my amp reviews you now can hear maybe when I'm switching the pickups or a little bit of the string noise of the pick faintly in the background, but adding this in just a bit absolutely gets you the sound of the cab the way that it sounded in the room. It's quite an undertaking to do the SM57, slightly off center from the cone. And then this R92, which we're also going to talk about. I wanted to do a separate video for this, but I want to talk about these two mics and how they changed my workflow. So this is also a ribbon mic from AEA. And traditionally, people put a Royer 121 on the cab. This is a great alternative to that. It has two different sounds. We're not going to go into this. It's not an in-depth review of this mic. You can put this on brass. You can put this on drums. It can handle sound pressure. What it can't handle is being thrown around. So yeah, you can blast sound into it. You cannot treat it badly. Treat it like a raw egg. Same with the 88A. Absolutely treat these very carefully because ribbons do not like to be manhandled. Ribbons usually sound the same from both sides. This apparently from the other side is a little bit darker and warmer. Haven't really tried this for this video, not necessary. So you can have a little bit of a different flavor. I don't need darker. I need it to be in front of a cab. A little bit more off center to get me the warmth. So the 57 will get me the bite. This will get me the low end and the warmth that the 57 doesn't have. We're going to get into this bullshit with the cable here. There will be critique at the end of this video. Let me carefully put it down. And then this gets me the room, which gets me 4 tracks, which I will phase align. And then we have for me, the most realistic in the room guitar tones that I've ever gotten. So let me show you a little clip and show you what mics I'm using and how I'm putting it together. So that's what you've been hearing for the last 6 months. And I really think it added a lot to the realism and quality of my videos and how what I'm hearing in the room can translate to your iPhone, iPad, Google Pixel, something while you're on the toilet or wherever you're listening. And that means you can make a more informed buying decision. Let me give you a couple more examples. All 3 mics together. So as I said, a great use of this is, what does a speaker sound in the room? What about a little practice amp? You would never mic a little practice amp like a Spark or something. Or I did a video, which you're going to see in a sec, of the little Harley Benton beginner kit. Who would close mic that? We need to hear it in the room, right? And so I made a little compilation of every time I use this to get you a realistic in the room sound when I reviewed PA speakers, FRFR, or a little practice amp. Here you go.
Oh, I wish I was a better man. In these times of imperfections, ain't it odd? We always seek the things that we ain't got, when we ought to stick together.
Now, the most glorious way to use this, absolutely, is singer-songwriter acoustic stuff. It's amazing. There is a video on the Clem, it's a distributor, on the Clem YouTube channel with two artists both singing and playing acoustic guitar at about this distance. And the way that you're mixing the acoustic and the vocal is simply by going up or down. So pretty much here will get me vocal and then the acoustic just right. And then if the other person's standing equidistant on the other side, or maybe a little bit further away if that's like, you know, backing vocal, you have one mic, a beautiful stereo field, apply some EQ and some compression, and your mix is done. And you should check out that recording. It's absolutely stunning. So I've done acoustic guitars in the room further away because I didn't want that sound. I wanted to have you have the feel of the acoustic guitar in the room. And then for the Yamaha acoustic, the TAG3, I had it closer to Rafa at about, I don't know, maybe this distance. You can see it in the video, to capture vocal and guitar. And it sounds absolutely natural. It sounds like, where's the mic? Well, you can clearly see it in front of him. Here's some acoustics in the room.
ground beneath your feet. Lost your balance and foundation. Feel your misery's complete. You've reached the peak of your frustration. But when everything goes south and the walls come crashing down, remember now things built to last, this too shall pass. Now that everything's been burned, something rising from the wreckage, wheel of fortune somehow turned. Gods of luck receive your message.
Now, if you're recording singer-songwriters, if you're doing percussion, any such thing, if you need to capture a realistic performance of someone in front of a mic and you don't want to do the close miking and then this and then put a thing between because it's bleed, well, you want the bleed here, it's one mic. This is glorious. Is it not cheap? Absolutely. But this is the mic to use. I mean, imagine this over a drum kit, right? As overheads. Yep. I mean, there's so many uses. But obviously, given its price point, for the more serious studio guy. Now, this thing is meant for higher SPLs and all that stuff. Sound pressure levels. I used it on the Yamaha TAG3 as a close mic. I mean, this is how it's supposed to be. I used it like this. I don't think it matters. Let's check out how that can sound, because it's pretty impressive. I'm going to do that with the AEA R92 ribbon mic. So let's do that. Now, the special thing about ribbons is they sound round and warm, and people think they might be dull. But if you have a high-end ribbon like these, you can boost the top end and get them to sound beautifully crisp without actually sacrificing anything. It's like having a very, very good camera where if you want to see what's in the dark, you can actually boost the levels and all of a sudden everything in the dark areas gets bright, but you don't get graininess. You don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a camera guy too. So let's get into my criticism. Well, first of all, you can see how I'm handling them. They're ribbon mics. Treat them like the most precious possession you have, because you know what? They're likely some of the most precious possessions you have. You have to be really careful, or they will start to go or just not sound right. And I want to use these all the time, so I really only let myself handle them, and I move them very carefully. But that means having a very good case would be good, right? Well, Lewitt has these really beautiful hard cases, even for the lower end mics. Why in the world don't they come in a nice SKB style, waterproof, Pelly style hard case? At that price point, they should, and they don't. Now, the R92 comes in this. It's a bit pathetic, AEA, I'm sorry. And it's even so small. I mean, yeah, it comes with a little pouch. That's nice, okay. But this is so small that I can't get everything back in here. Because you got to put the mic in there and then the attached cable, and we're going to bitch about the attached cable. I know it's all the way that it used to be back in the good old days. You know what? The good old days weren't all that good when it comes to certain things we now do better, like not have cables attached to our mic or Roland to keyboards or whatever. You know, there are better ways to do things. That's a case, but it's not great. And when you put everything in here, I don't even know how you put the mic back in here. So that needs, at 1,300 something, or I think 1,300 euro, it needs a considerably bigger and more rugged case. Okay, I want the case where I can literally throw it and nothing happens. I can barely get the mic in here. This is the soft case for the R88A. And we got the same thing here. We got a nice long bag for the mic, zero protection there, a little manual and a sticker, a mounty thing that I don't quite know if that actually holds the mic. It could. So that mounts on a mic stand. And then you can move it in different angles. I have it on a Triad Orbit stand, and if you have a mic for that much, buy a Triad Orbit stand. Yeah, you could do this, but the mic is heavy, and no, I mean, this feels like it could work. So that comes with it. Then the mic, which by itself, now with my Triad Orbit attachment, so you can see, actually doesn't fit in here anymore, so I'll have to take the attachment off. And then the mic just fits in. And so the question is, where do you put the high quality cable, but where do you put the cable? So this is a 5-pin cable. Okay, it's not in focus. And then that splits up into, so that goes into the mic, and that splits up into 2 standard XLRs, and that's how you have your stereo. You're going into 2 tracks. But if I put this in here, which probably was in here somehow, and the mic, I'm gonna have to squish the living crap out of it. Sorry, AEA, for a microphone in this price range, in this quality, in this awesomeness, this thing deserves a real Pilly-style hard case. You know, something like this. An actual real case. Other microphone companies can do it, so AEA, I have my full trust in you that you can do it. This in here, put this in here. There's absolutely no space for the mic now. This whole thing is weird. It sounds absolutely fantastic, but it is attached with these rubbers, right? So it already has a shock mount built in, but it's extremely difficult to position. Then it's attached to this swivel, which is plastic, $1,300, plastic. This doesn't go far out enough, so it bounces against the middle here quite a bit. Why is that? And then the cable is attached with, as far as I can tell, cable ties. They just cable tied it to this. And then you've got the cable and XLR. So my cat chews on that, someone rolls over it with a chair, you're in a studio, something falls on it, mic's broken. Yeah, you're in a studio, someone can solder that together. I can't, I shouldn't because I kill myself. That isn't very flexible. I always have a problem positioning it. If I didn't have very, very expensive Triad Orbit gear to get it in the right position, this would drive me completely insane. And this attached cable is just strange. Why would you do that? I get it because it's free floating, but there are better ways to do this somehow. There has to be a better way to do this than having a long attached cable that apparently I can't service. What if the rubber breaks? There isn't extra rubber in there. I don't know. It sounds really good. And I wouldn't want to use anything else. But this sticking to old style attached cable, small casiness, just isn't contemporary. But these AEA mics, for me, and that's absolutely true, have been a game changer in how I can present gear to you in the best sounding way possible. And since we're trying to promote audio gear, the way that it sounds to you, the customer, is massively important. If you're producing singer-songwriter stuff, if you're a singer-songwriter or anyone doing acoustic stuff, the R88A is a must. I know it's very expensive, but if it's in any way within your budget, this will make you sound the way you sound. And for the guitar players with a budget that lets you get a good ribbon mic, you might look at the Royer 121. That's a classic. This is pretty damn killer. I have used ribbon mics before. This is the one I'm using now. Okay, I haven't had a Royer 121, to be honest. Maybe that's in the cards at some point, and then I can compare and contrast. But this is my baby now. I will fight with the stupid, attachment in the cable because the sound absolutely warrants that. So that's it for me. That's just me sharing what I'm using lately and how it improved my workflow and the quality of the stuff that I'm presenting to you. Thank you so much, AEA. Hope to see you at NAMM. And thank you, Manuel. You've been awesome. And we're going to put animals at the end, as always. Oh, links below to all these. Thomas, Sweetwater, all that. Please use them if you're in any way interested in anything from AEA or anyone else. Use my links. Buy something else. Buy a pack of strings. That absolutely helps. If you use my links, we can feed the dogs. And they're always hungry. Thank you so much. Now, animals at the end.
Lost the ground beneath your feet, lost your balance and foundation. Feel your misery's complete. You've reached the peak of your frustration. But when everything goes south and the walls come crashing down, remember now things built to last, this too shall pass. Now that everything's been burned, something rising from the wreckage, wheel of fortune somehow turned.